welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Ray.
My name is Mike.
And I'm Josh.
So, gentlemen, we've been out for a couple weeks, and I have been lazy with this production of this podcast. Absolutely
It's okay.
lazy with
It's been a hectic time, but when video games...
Ray, I know you thought this podcast was actually us talking about stuff. No, it's really it's an intervention. We got to get on your shit. We're here in front of the internet, in front of the world.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some video games because it seemed like for
boy
2 months there was like nothing, no video games, no news, no nothing, and then like wham bam, look at hot damn, like everything happened literally at once.
At least 3 video games happened this week, maybe even 5.
They're big ones though.
And then like one piece of news. So this podcast will probably take 6-7 minutes tops. We'll get you in and out and on your way because
there's only really one piece of news that's worth talking about so far, and that's the latest and greatest of what's going on in Tap Tycoon, Josh.
Mike, let me tell you about Tap Tycoon. There's so much going on right now.
Did I say last podcast that I started playing Tap Tycoon?
How big are the numbers, Josh?
Well, I'm up to BH right now.
Okay. Second.
That's stupid. That's not a number.
Second question. Are they still going up?
Mike, I am pleased to inform you the numbers are still going up.
Yes! Okay.
And
Tap Tycoons, numbers still go
They're
big.
going up even faster.
The madman.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy.
Think of the children.
I'm almost to the point where I'm going to have a second world, so like I'll have 2 sets of numbers that are going up.
Oh shit. So now like the numbers you have the numbers you have going up is going up. Like it's not even about the first set of numbers going up anymore. That doesn't even. It's like this has gone like. Fourth dimensional. This is incredible. I need to play more. I should probably reinstall Tap Tycoons.
So let me tell you about my story about Tap Tycoon. So because of this son of a bitch over here, I actually installed the game. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. An idle game, just a game that you play when you're on the toilet or you got nothing better to do with your life.
Or you're up at 2 in the morning with your daughter because she's crying and you need to change her diaper, and you know what? Hey, do some quick tapping real quick.
It's called a book or a podcast. Do something with your life. Anyways,
I don't have that much time.
So I'm no better than him, and it's whatever. It's an idle game. So this guy says, hey, why don't you join my investment group, which is basically a clan. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Oh, I need to be level 48. Okay, I respect, people having to level. You don't want people just vamping your resources. So this week, that was 2 weeks ago. This week, I get to level 48. I'm like, hey, Josh, can I join your clan? He's like, yeah, sure. Here's the code. I go in. Oh, they changed the level cap. It's no longer 48. It's 60, which would take me, by my math, another 2 weeks to get to. Fuck your clan.
No.
No.
You're all right. You'll get there. You know what? It's just we were getting.
You're just gonna raise it again.
We were having too many plebs, and we had to have a certain requisite minimum quality, and just you'll get there. You'll get there, Ray. Don't worry.
Fuck you.
But speaking of numbers getting bigger,
oh man, I can't wait to see. Wait, no, come on, let's hear it.
Nintendo's tweet stats, numbers, likes, and retweets went ham this week.
That was awful.
It was.
No, wow, I was. Man, there was another story you could have gone with that would have made more sense.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of numbers getting bigger, Red Dead Redemption, there's a second.
They added a whole nother number.
Yeah, that's the one I was waiting for. Like, do it. I was like on the edge of my seat, like, this is it. He's gonna do a proper segue, and then he stumbles over the finish line.
Ray, you know that's not my thing.
No, that. You're right. Your thing is not to gracefully finish. It is to roll headlong, tumbling.
But you know what is Nintendo's thing? To continually change the way we play games with their newest game console. We got an NX reveal and teaser. The Nintendo Switch. See, I can do segues. Fuck you. The Nintendo Switch
the best.
coming May and by May I mean March
Thank you.
2017, the newest console from Nintendo, powered by NVIDIA. It is what we thought all along. It is a hybrid console. There is a dock with a tablet that the tablet goes into. You have a controller that is, what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm posting screenshots of it on here.
Modular.
I'm not posting videos because the video will just get flagged by Nintendo, then they'll make money off of us, and I'm just not having that.
We don't want that. So the modular controllers have two little paddles that can be broken off from the main base, put onto the tablet portion of the console, so you can game on the go. You can also remove the paddles on the sides of the tablet, put those together, form a little mini controller, and there's a stand on the tablet. You can put it in front of you. So, like, let's say you're on a train or a plane or some other place out and about, you can have it set up on a stand. You can have your gaming experience on the go. Your full Nintendo home console, portable. Gentlemen,
when I looked at the reveal trailer, as a matter of fact, I have words for this, so I'm gonna let Mike go first. I have lots of words for this.
Well, after looking at this thing, I think I'm really intrigued to kind of learn more. I mean, it's kind of what it's a lot of people have been speculating that this is kind of the direction they would go for a long time. So it wasn't a huge surprise, but it seems like this definitely still kind of has Nintendo in the nice to have kind of category for games. Like, you either have your PS4, Xbox, or PC, and then you have this because it's nice to have. That it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be replacing any of these kind of, like, for like the hardcore audience. Like, I don't know if this really moves the needle for them, but it is. As in, I don't think it's to say it's a direct competitor to, like, the PS4 or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of apples and oranges.
I don't think that it needs to be or is or will be marketed that way. I really don't. So that doesn't really bother me or track for me.
Exactly. So this, I mean, it's such a different animal, and so. But I'm really interested to see, what this, just to learn more about this thing. I mean, because it's got some pretty cool ideas. I think a lot of it's going to come down to, the execution. Like, if the performance, when you kind of take it out of the kind of the central little dock it has when you're playing it on, like, a big screen, if the performance tanks, like, if that's just something they can never get right, or the battery life is low, that's going to be something that's a real bummer about this thing from the get-go. But if that performance is like an acceptable, and say that tablet has about the play life of, like, a 3DS, for example, then I think that's the kind of stuff that they need to be. Those kind of basics, I think, in my book, that they need to hit for this thing to really take off and be a cool piece of tech.
I don't have a lot of fear about the processing mobily. The battery life is one that will be the huge question.
Mm-hmm.
Having the NVIDIA GPU in there, the one that that's going to power that, I think is a really good move for Nintendo, especially given NVIDIA's track record with mobile processors in the last few years, specifically in their Shield gaming tablet and set-top box kind of thing. They've really done a lot of work in the last few years perfecting that technology, getting those CPUs to a place of good battery life and really good performance for a mobile device. So I think that is not going to be a huge concern. Yeah, that you'll probably get a slower clock speed on the Move just to save battery life, but I think that is a really good decision for Nintendo, and that might be something that when we first heard about the NVIDIA Switch, I might have I think I thought about after our last podcast. It's like the Shield is a really good example of like NVIDIA doing this well. So I think that's going to be all right.
So can I make some comments on this?
Ye-
So how?
yes.
Oh,
Go ahead.
please go ahead. How appropriate is it of Josh to bring up the Shield, the device that like no one owns?
People don't own it, but it's a good device. It's one of those things
Sure.
that if you own it, people who do own it love it. It's not a huge, widespread device because I don't think they've really marketed it well or given people
or at all.
or given people. Now the Shield home device, the one that like plugs into your set-top box, has gaming, but also does like Roku style stuff. That is sold a lot better. Been a lot better marketed, but it's still a good device. Got a good processor in it. But sales does not necessarily equal quality. So
right. So my thought when I first saw the Switch reveal trailer, I'm like me and my friends were just like Nintendo is like actually incapable of just making a normal console. They don't have it in their blood. They don't have it in their bone structure. They're like, oh, look, we could just make something to actually compete with the PS. Well, no. You know what? We're going to be completely 100% different. We're going to make this thing that no one knew that they wanted. But don't get me wrong. The more and more I look at the reveal trailer, the more and more I think I'm probably the market for this. Because I had to do some global traveling a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking while on the plane.
How great would that have been on your 18 million hour flight across the globe?
Yeah, that would have been kind of fun, but it comes with a couple caveats. One, how long is that battery life? Two, what are the games actually going to be like that come out in that thing? Like I had my 3DS, I had my ebook, I was entertained. I had my phone, I just paid for Wi-Fi, I was fine. So, I'm not such a hardcore gamer that I need a gaming system with me. I'll be fine without. I bring laptops or computers all the time. Also, can I talk how in that NX Revere trailer, how they showed the people playing, NBA 2K, and I'm going to show a screenshot of that, NBA 2K on those tiny little controllers, because it breaks off, and two main little, nunchucks, they're called Joy-Cons, become separate, player controllers. They're like, yeah, we're playing NBA 2K on this. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. That is a fake screenshot. That is bullshit. There is nothing real about what you just showed me.
That's one of the other kind of questions I had about this thing, because I think it is cool that you can kind of break those off and do local multiplayer like that, kind of
sure.
out of nowhere. But it's kind of it's like this thing is pretty small. I think it's a pretty cool kind of piece of it just snaps in. That's cool, but
that's
a
great concept,
I'm really curious. I hope that is I
hope
it feels more natural than it looks like.
That's not for us.
Last I checked, NBA 2K17 required more than at max 5 buttons. And also they showed them go to a party. Hey, we just break these off. They connect together, and they showed two switches together, and they were playing Mario Kart. I'm like, yeah, Mario Kart requires more than 4 buttons. Who are you fooling? This is fake. Actually, speaking of fake, something I noticed in the reveal trailer. 2 things. One, this is a positive in Nintendo's favor. Huge positive. Watch that reveal trailer again. There are no children in any part of that trailer. Everyone in that trailer is above the age of 21. They are marketing that to millennials. They're marketing it to adults. Nintendo looks like they're trying to throw away that we're just a system for kids. It looks like they're trying to market it to, no, we're the system for everyone that's been buying our games because they've been loving it since they were kids. And I respect the hell out of that. I thought it was smart. It was a really smart move. The way they showed it, they're like, guys, just sit down. My dog needs to be walked. Let me take my Switch with me. Oh, someone's inviting me to a party. Let me take my Switch with me. Hey, we're about to go play some. We're about to go to go-kart. While we play some go-kart, while we're going to go play go-kart or go-kart. That's smart. That's really good, effective marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the positive in Nintendo's favor. Here's the negative. They showed some screenshots of Skyrim, the remastered edition, on the Switch. As a matter of fact, they spent a whole minute of that reveal trailer showing Skyrim remastered on NX. Bethesda has not confirmed Skyrim remaster is coming to the NX.
Well, I think it's just they don't want to cannibalize their own sales with a remastered edition on the PS4 and.
I think that's
Xbox One. That's what I would say.
They wouldn't
about
have
that.
showed that on there if they hadn't talked to Bethesda about like, hey, you're gonna do that, right? Yeah. Don't worry. Like,
I think
Bethesda came out and said we are not confirming that this game will be
again.
on the
I
system.
think
not
Mike's right.
either.
I think Mike's right with the. Hey, we're about ready to launch these on the other consoles, and we don't want anybody who might buy a Switch to like wait. So, because then we might get 2 sales. So we're just going to be real coy about it.
I agree. And they are one of the...
Imagine someone buying a Switch and expecting Skyrim Remastered, and then they're like, yeah, we're not releasing Skyrim Remastered on this system.
Also, if you're buying the Nintendo Switch for Skyrim, you're wrong. You're dumb.
Why are you wrong when they market it that way? That's not wrong, that's lying.
Because they're
Go ahead, Josh. Defend the corporations again.
Because
here we go.
Somebody get Hale Corporate out here.
I missed this.
I'm Hale Corporate's representative.
No, let me get my beer.
Let the man speak, Stan.
For the one person out there who looks at this 5-year-old game on the new console and says, that's the reason why I'm buying the Nintendo Switch, there are, again,
not
it's a 5-year-old
Nintendo's
game.
first parties. No.
It's not a Nintendo first-party game. It is a game that has been out for a long time and on literally every other platform out there imaginable that person already probably has. Like, yeah, that one person who buys it, if they don't do it, will be disappointed, but, like, it's one person. They'll be all right. There are other games out there. Have you heard about The Legend of Zelda? I bet it's going to be pretty good, too. So,
have you heard about that clearly new Mario game that they showed footage of that was not any other Mario game that looks pretty damn
I'm so glad
good.
You guys are like just feeding it to Nintendo right now. Of course they're going to have first-party games, Nintendo games, but you know what's been killing Nintendo the past 2 decades? Lack of third-party support. So if they're going to show third-party games, and those third-party games possibly don't come to that console, you have another Wii U, which sits in the corner and is either your Mario Maker or Smash Brothers machine, and that's it.
People mocked the Wii U for showcasing the Batman Arkham game that was a year or 2 old, the Armored Edition or whatever, when the Wii U was getting launched. I mean, like, oh, they're just talking about this old third-party game. Where's the new stuff? And now you're saying that them talking about a 5-year-old game as a third-party title.
It's the remastered edition. There's a difference. The remastered edition, you can't buy the remastered edition of Skyrim yet. But if they are showing commercials for it, acting like you can play it on this new system as well as play it on the current consoles, someone might withhold that purchase, buy a Nintendo Switch, and say, I'll just play it on this one instead when it comes out. There's a difference between Arkham City, which had already been out, and there's already the Game of the Year edition, which had been out for an extra year by the time the Wii U got it, and then just re-releasing it and giving Batman some OP armored gloves. There's a big difference between that and saying there's a new game that's coming out. It's not out yet. Yes, it's a remastered version of an older game, but this remastered version has new stepped-up graphics, a lot of different mod support,
graphics
and a lot of different...
for a Bethesda game, which is like, hey, the shaders look a little nicer, but it's basically going to be
clean faces.
I'm defending a console game.
Clean faces.
2 things. One,
okay.
Of all of the things about the Nintendo Switch to talk about, this is like the least important one. 2, Bethesda would not let Nintendo use that footage in their commercial if they weren't going to make that game.
I
agree
100%.
Go back to the Wii U reveal trailer and count the games that are in that reveal trailer that never came out for it. There's 3. It happens. Companies could just say, yeah, you could use this footage, but we're not going to commit to the game coming out here.
I bet if you go back to any other console launch, I bet you find the same thing. I bet you find things that be like, this is going to be a day 1 launch title that that don't come out either at launch or at all. So
I
that doesn't.
challenge you to do that, and it's not the same. Third-party companies are quicker to jump ship from Nintendo than any other console because Nintendo lately, from the Wii to the Wii U, have been too gimmicky for people to say, "Yeah, we're just not going to commit to this. We will make more money on the other guys."
But that's a difference between this being a mobile console and motion controls. Like, I think motion controls was a gimmick because it was a completely different way that third parties were not looking to try and do. This is just like, hey, you know, make your game run a little differently because it might be on a.
No, don't get me wrong. The thing I like about the Switch is if you look at it kind of sideways, it looks like just a normal console. Like, yeah,
I think it looks pretty
has a thing
slick.
where
I agree.
don't get me wrong. It looks like a sexy piece of hardware.
And
honestly,
the handheld like the normal like the controller kind of has like an old like wave birdie vibe to it. I dig it.
I wasn't a fan of the.
I
White
actually
Bird. I thought it
wanted
was too
to
much.
kind of talking about like third parties and stuff. There's an in addition to the just some of the reveal trailer, Nintendo put out a couple just some other pieces of information. They did that. Look at all these exciting brands, splash that they had, and certainly compared to the same similar kind of splash they had for the Wii U, it's a much beefier list of companies. I mean, you've got your your standbys like Ubisoft, Atlas, people like that. But you had a couple other names on there that I thought were interesting, like From Software, Grasshopper. So if it means I'm gonna get some, I mean, From Software does a lot of other things besides Dark Souls. But if you're telling me that I'm gonna have some Dark Souls and some Suda 51 action on the Switch, sorry, I think that's kind of another point I wanted to bring up is like our next I guess we'll have to see how much we can really glean from this trailer, but it didn't really show a lot of touch control. I'm gonna assume that
That's
it
a good
has
thing.
touch control just because every single other device at this point has touch control. Like it would just be silly not to have it as like a menu navigation type capacity. But it really looked like they've moved away from motion control as a major element. Doing things on like the second screen as a major component.
I disagree with you. I don't think touch controls are needed. Like, what's the last game that you played, and did you feel this game would have benefited from touch controls?
I mean, the only one I can think of is Mario Maker lately. But
I mean,
but yeah,
there's that.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying is that
It's more that anybody who takes this out of the base and does it mobily is so used to gaming on their phone and having having a tablet or a screen like that they're going to try and touch it, and if they're not able to touch it, even for things like menu navigation, they're going to be pissed off.
like I think
I doubt it. Like
that's kind of what I
just
think.
disagree
Like
with you
I
on
mean,
that.
people yell at Apple for the MacBook not having a touchscreen because so many computers laptops have touchscreens nowadays. People want that. They may
I
not
have
use
never
it,
heard
but
that
they want it.
complaint.
I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of I'm wondering about that. Like I can't imagine it would really be like too much of an impact on the system. I think it would be a detriment if it didn't have just like basic touchscreen, and I think I'm going to go ahead and assume it has that until it doesn't, just because it makes so much sense in terms of navigation. We don't know really much more if if this thing is going to have like a Netflix app or other things like that. Like I think that makes a lot of sense for.
I think that makes it. So if it had like a capacitive touchscreen, I think that would. Or the reason why I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't have one, that it might have a tactile touchscreen, like a touch-resistive touchscreen. There's a word for that. I forget what it is. But there's capacitive, which is heat-based, and then there's we'll just say tactile. There's a tactile, which is the plastic is detecting where the screen actually touched. I would say that juxtaposed up to gigantic levels if they had a capacitive touchscreen. So, and with that high fidelity of the screen that they're using, it looks like the Granted, it's just a trailer, so I have no idea what the screen's going to look
We
like.
have.
They made it look
I
pretty
think we
high
have to
def.
assume it's going to be an HD screen.
Let's assume if you add a capacitive screen to that, you're
Like-
looking at like a $600 console, and I just don't foresee Nintendo doing that.
Yeah, that would be a little high, but I do think it's going to have. I think just kind of in terms of how people interact with technology that looks like that a lot of these days. I mean, people are it's just natural at this point. It's like, oh, this thing kind of looks like an iPad. Boop. Oh wait, that doesn't work. This is weird. I think just that capacity. I think that it's not mandatory, but I think it would be a mistake if Nintendo didn't make that just as just
Let's agree on
just
one
in terms
thing.
of how
Nothing
people
in the trailer showed you that they were touching on the screen.
No, nothing did. But I do, like I was saying, I just don't. I think that it would be a mistake to not include that, just because that's how, with a lot of technology that people interact with today, that's how just how stuff works. Like I can pinch, I can pull, I can slide. Like that. Just that's how that works. So I think it would be a mistake to not have that. I mean, I don't. This is kind of what the main point I wanted to make is. I don't think a lot of that is going to be a big part of gameplay. Like, we didn't see a lot of motion control. We didn't see anybody drawing anything. And I wonder if this is Nintendo's... I mean, it's still going to be a lot of quirks for developers. They have to build their games for the mobile version of the game and the docked version of the game. It looks like we're going to have a cartridge-type game or like a download versus optical drive.
Thanks for bringing that up.
So
cartridges, yeah.
Do we think is this the console that gets third parties back in with Nintendo? And I mean, it's going to be hard to do worse than the Wii U did, but it also seems like it also seems like this is a lot more developer friendly than the Wii U, I would say.
It will also depend on the architecture. If the rumors of what we heard true, that they were going to be more Linux based and a lot more a lot less of the Nintendo proprietary weirdness that has always kind of plagued the systems and kept the third parties away in a way. And I think in just overall sales numbers, is this console going to sell in numbers that make third parties go, maybe this is something we want to do that extra work to get the game ready? Because I don't think that the whole we have to make the docked and the mobile version I don't think that's going to be an issue, simply because of the whole the division in the Xbox and the PlayStation.
You kind of have like your PC slider type.
Yeah, you're going to have your two different versions of the game that kind of have to run at different speeds. So that's going to be something that all developers are going to be getting pretty accustomed to anyway. It's really going to be about, is it as easy to develop for or easier to develop for than the Wii U, and other systems, and does it sell?
And that's another good question is, I mean, because Nintendo hasn't really, they haven't explicitly confirmed, going forward what this means for the DS.
The DS,
I mean, we're pretty sure that this...
I think they just killed the DS.
I think you're right.
I think you're right.
They haven't...
They either killed the DS or they turned it into a true children's toy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think. I wanted to answer your question with this earlier, Josh, was you're talking about the sale, the install base for this thing attracting third parties. Nintendo didn't sell a lot of Wii U's, but they sold a hell of a lot of 3DS's. And there are a lot of good
games
on the 3DS. So combining that, there's real potential to combine that audience. This means this means for a lot of people they get the HD Monster Hunter or the HD Pokemon game that they've always wanted. That's the kind of stuff that this console can do for a lot of those audiences, which might be really big.
Here's my concern, is how much of the 3DS audience were price-sensitive parents who bought this device for their children because it was a lot less expensive and rugged. something that could be thrown in a backpack, that could be put in a back pocket, that their kid could bounce around without having to worry about it. What is the price point of this going to be, and how is that going to translate in bringing that 3DS audience into this new platform?
That's going to be...
Can I just say that, to that point, first of all, it goes back to the marketing that we saw of the reveal trailer. Only adults were in this reveal trailer, and the second game that they showed in this reveal trailer was an M-rated one, Skyrim: The Remastered Edition. Let's pretend that's coming to the Switch.
Let's also pretend that parents and kids follow ratings.
Ooh.
That too, whatever, but still, M-rated game. The point is made that nothing about this trailer made it seem like, yeah, we want kids to buy this. Like, that thing looks like if you got near a piece of concrete with it, it shatters. That thing does not look rugged at all.
I know, but like...
I would be fear dropping it.
But my point is that the base of so many DSs and 3DSs being in the realm
it's something
of
you can
kids,
close, so you can just...
For the price point, like, how are they going to retain that part of the market?
You don't. You sell it like you sell iPads. Parents buy iPads all the time for their kids. They don't care. You keep it the exact same price point and say, if you want to use it for your kids, whatever. Here's a cover.
And that's kind of another kind of thing to think about with this device is how it kind of plays into with Nintendo's stuff on cell phones. I mean, people are, I guess, in terms of gaming, a lot of kids just have smartphones. Like there's still going to be a very easy way to play Nintendo type games. I mean, it's obviously not the same, But
there's going to be a Mario game come December on the smartphone.
But that's the kind of thing. But I think that audience is still kind of there. So I think Josh does bring a good point. It's like, is the price point of this device going to be right to bring in a large portion of that 3DS audience? I mean, the 3DS was pretty expensive to begin with. The price fell pretty quickly
when it first came out. I was one of the first suckers. I was day one in line to buy a 3DS for $250.
Yeah. So it did fall. It did fall quite a bit, and it has been at a lower price point for I would say the majority of its lifespan. But Josh does bring the point. I mean, is this it
just makes me nervous.
I think that's a really good point. Like, is this thing going to be $500?
Yes, I'm taking all bets. $500, possibly $600. Day one release. We could go on and on about this, and we have a lot of other stuff to cover, and I don't think we're gonna. We could just actually cut it off here. Just call this the Switch podcast, and then we could just talk about the other stuff in a different one because this has gone on for 33 minutes.
Yeah. Well then, because at the end, like my point about the 3DS market and it needing to figure out something for those people. The 3DS sold 57, almost 58 million copies.
Damn.
Like, they've sold that many pieces of hardware. Like, you can't just write that market off. You can't write that audience off.
Like, I knew it was a lot, but geez, that's a lot of consoles.
December 31st, 2015, so that number has probably gone up, not probably a huge amount, but, like, that's a lot of consoles. That's a lot of units. So... I'm not saying that the Switch is a bad console. I'm very much looking forward to it, but
I'm looking forward to it.
I want to.
I am. I really am.
I want to see how this impacts.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to watch because
they need to capitalize on that audience because that's a staggering number.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I'm very interested in all
Calling
of it.
It loud.
It's a very
$500.
I think you're probably right. I think that's probably going to be the ballpark.
I cannot foresee it costing less.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna go with 4. I'm gonna go 4 tops.
Looking at the way that thing is built, I would say selling it at $400. They're selling it at a giant loss.
The Wii U launched in North America at $300. So
yeah, but the thing's a piece.
Well,
there's nothing intelligently designed about that.
I mean, the Wii U is basically a Wii with a tablet. So I I think Stan might be right. An extra $200 for that?
That slick piece of hardware with a giant HD screen with a bunch of detachable parts that you're gonna lose. Just deal with that fact. You're just gonna lose a couple Joy-Cons.
Also, the new NVIDIA Tegra chip, however much battery they're cramming into that thing for mobile use, like, I could see that $500 price point.
I don't.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
can we start taking bets on how long that thing is gonna last on battery? I'm predicting 4 hours solid.
that's probably. That's not. That's not. I think that's in the ballpark. But
I
I
don't
do
know
want.
about everyone else's
I was gonna-
3DS, but my 3DS lasts 5 hours on battery.
I was gonna
It's
say
embarrassing.
I was gonna say 4 to 6 on battery. Probably a little shorter if you're using the wireless controller rather than having them hooked onto the sides. But
I don't know.
I'm gonna say price wise. I don't think it. I think 500 would be, like we just talked about with that 3DS audience. Like the big success here is going to be getting those people to just go ahead and buy this too.
Yeah.
So having that at such a I mean, obviously you're getting a home console too, and all the features that come with a modern home console. I mean, we think
it can't. Nope. It can't come out at $500. There's no way. It'll be more than a PS4 Pro. Can't happen. They won't do it.
Yeah, they will.
That's kind of what I'm
350.
thinking. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It's just like
I
I
revised my statement. 350.
I'm holding 500 strong.
I'm gonna say I like 350. That's a good number, Josh. Well, we'll get there when we get there.
$349.99.
Oh, okay.
Oh!
I bid $1. Okay,
$499.99 then.
$1.
Oh man.
I bid $1.
You know what? From what I've been reading about the specs, this thing will be slightly more powerful than a PS4.
Interesting.
Slightly.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know much about the specs of it, but we'll talk more as we learn more.
I am looking forward to seeing more of it. I say again, even though I kind of shit talked it a little bit, I'm looking forward to this. I might actually buy it.
Me too.
I think I'm the market for this.
That's kind of how I feel. Like this is a really cool piece of kind of tech, and I'm really if the execution is going to make or break this thing. Like I mean, duh, but
Yeah.
if thing is good, it will be good. But really, if
It's
there's
already
some
the most popular video on Nintendo's YouTube
there's some
channel.
pretty cool ideas going on here, and I'm really curious to see if they can pull it off. We should talk about other stuff.
Well, let's just cut this
just wanna
off.
break it
and we'll
off
switch
then?
to a different podcast.
I think this is
This is it.
we're gonna hot swap this into the Nintendo's. We're gonna switch this into the Nintendo Switch.
That was good. Okay, that was all right.
10
Okay.
out of 10.
Oh shit, Kobe.
So I guess all's left for me
What
to
you
say.
guys aren't seeing is him actually doing the whipping motion with his hands.
Chuking.
Also, I really hope it makes those noises, but that's just gravy. So I guess that's left for us to say is make sure you subscribe to us here. You go to our Facebook page and like us at Unscripted Gaming. Follow us on Twitter at unscript_gaming. You can also get us at SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming. We are also on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, and Pocket Cast. So you can follow us anywhere. So thanks for listening to our Nintendo Switch special. I'm Josh.
If you pay me $50, I'll transcribe a whole episode and mail it to you.
Look at that. That's service right there.
That might be a lie, but we'll get there. Okay, let's.
Oh, also,
hot swap.
if you want to have a bitchin' T-shirt with the Unscripted Gaming logo and our most popular catchphrase, vote with your wallet on it, go to teespring.com/unscriptedgaming. You can have one for your very own self. Buy one. It'll be awesome. Help support the podcast and also let people know that you vote with your wallet.
Because you are very smart.
Goddamn right.
It's a very smart T-shirt for very smart people.
Be a rational consumer. Vote with your wallet by buying this T-shirt.
Oh my God.
I have nothing to add to this.
I am very
All
smart.
right.
Hot swap
I'm Josh.
engaged. I'm Mike.
I'm right.
Peace.